Over the years of MotoGP, we have seen some amazing comebacks from some serious injuries. This video is just going to discuss some of the most recent or most memorable comebacks in history. It necessarily doesn't rank them and which is the most incredible. It's just some of the 5 that we've picked out and we're going to discuss today. Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe for more content. I will be doing more videos throughout the week and through the next week before the Spanish GP. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin. In 1992, Mick Doohan was incredible. He was so far ahead in the championship as we reached the 8th round of the season at Assen, and Mick suffered a horrendous crash in qualifying on the Friday. His injury was so bad he broke the fibula and tibia in his right leg, needing both legs to be sewn together for his left leg to nourish his right one. And if the right one didn't recover, it would most likely have to be amputated. Just 8 weeks later, Mick came back and rode in the Brazilian Grand Prix, but he was not himself. He was a shadow of himself. He was very pale. He's almost described that he was ghost-like when he got on the bike. The colour of his skin, it was just not the Mick Doohan we know, but the effort, the hunger to come back and try and win a championship. He unfortunately didn't win the championship as Wayne Rainey won the 1992 World Championship that year, but that comeback and that will to prove to get back on a motorcycle just after 8 weeks of nearly losing your leg is something incredible. The 2013 Dutch TT is remembered for 2 things: Valentino Rossi's incredible comeback win for Yamaha, and Jorge Lorenzo's heroic return after breaking his collarbone in practice. So Lorenzo really was in a rich vein of form. He was just reeling off race wins. He'd won in Catalonia. It was a very, very solid season for him. He was facing challenge from the Repsol Hondas, and then he crashed in the wet at Assen and he broke his collarbone and he needed to fly back to Spain to get surgery. So everyone thinks that is that and Lorenzo's out for the weekend, but then we have just a heroic comeback from Lorenzo. He flies back on the Friday and then qualifies and then charges his way through and settles for a fantastic 5th place. And it's kind of similar to the next one. We look at the 2017 Aragon GP. We were told, I think it was 3 weeks before that, before the San Marino Grand Prix, that Valentino Rossi was out of the Grand Prix as he broke his right leg. It was something that shocked MotoGP. He done it when doing an enduro ride with his friends during one of his off weeks, and people thought that was it for Rossi's season. He kind of had a chance still in 2017 to win the title. It might have been an outside chance, but nevertheless the chance had completely gone and he missed his home race. But then murmurs started the week before the Aragon GP that he was actually going to return, and he did. He put the Yamaha on the front row in qualifying, which was sensational, and rode to a 5th place finish in the race, which was even better. Just 21 days after his leg break, which was just phenomenal. And then going back to Assen, we seem to be at Assen a lot where crises happen. Kevin Swans in 1984 was challenging Mick Doohan for the 500cc title. It was a very close one, kind of close battle. You know, Mick had taken a real advantage. At that point in the season, he had won 4 races. Kevin had won, I believe, just the 1 race, I think 1 or 2, and he was pushing hard and had a crash in qualifying where he broke pretty much and done a lot of cartilage damage to his wrist. He physically couldn't actually hold the bike, and he said to Dr. Costa at the time he wanted to actually come back and try and ride the race and just see if he can get any points. He did. He came back the day after the crash and salvaged a 5th place finish, which was just stunning, you know, especially on a 500cc bike where it's, you know, one swift movement at the wrist too much and that thing's going to spit you off. And the final one that we have on this list is one that just happened last week. So Marc Marquez made his return to Portimao last week, and he was very sort of unmarked like in his media press briefing, he was just very calm. He was very sort of nervous, and he didn't really seem to expect much from himself. But this is Marc Marquez we're talking about here. He came back to a heroic 7th place, where he raced basically on one of the toughest, most demanding circuits, on one of the hardest bikes to ride in MotoGP, and he hadn't been there last year because he was out for so long due to his crash at Jerez, where he fractured his right humerus bone and had that tumultuous 9 months of 3 surgeries, infections. He didn't know if he was ever going to come back, and I think that needs to be stated to people that just don't understand the severity of this. He didn't know whether his right arm would be normal to have a living life, never mind ride a motorcycle bike. It's something that proves that he's incredible. Just to even attempt it, he knows in his head he can do it now, and what we're going to see this season could be the start of one of the greatest comebacks in MotoGP. But yeah, that's just some of the 5 that we've discussed. Let us know your favourite comebacks in the past from injury. We'd love to hear them in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for more content. And yeah, I will see you next time.